So let's talk about the reality a little bit here of being self-employed. Okay, this is something that I'm not necessarily an expert on. I try to focus on it and understand it a little bit better. But I actually want to make this video to help explain to others, maybe people out there who are hiring help or who are looking to have work done, and they don't really fully understand the cost of a service or the cost of doing business or the cost of someone being an independently employed, contractor or service provider. Okay, so here's my example from yesterday on that silly clearing job that I went and did. Now this was a bad luck, worst case scenario almost, I would say. Well, not worst case. I didn't technically lose money. Yesterday I did that clearing job, and in the end I was paid $225. Okay? Now the average person would look at that and go, wow, $75 an hour. You were there for 3 hours and worked. Okay. But I spent an hour getting ready for that job, loading up, getting all the tools, everything ready. Okay? I spent an hour getting ready for the job. I spent an hour and a half round trip drive to and from the job. I spent, I'm going to say, $20 in diesel fuel between my truck and my tractor to do the job. I had the bad luck of damaging the rim. I still don't know what the heck I hit. Must have been a culvert. Rim couldn't be repaired. Had to buy a new rim today. That was $60. Now the new rim is $50, and I'm gonna have to take it to a shop and have the tire mounted on it. That's gonna be $10 if I'm lucky, probably $15. We'll say $60, okay? While I was gone doing that job, in order to get ready for another job, I had Ryan over here working on my big dump truck, just doing a general service and trying to get it ready for another job. I paid Ryan $120. He's a professional mechanic. He's expensive. He's independently employed, okay? So, $225 whole dollars was my revenue, okay? Minus $120 for Ryan, minus $60 for the tire and rim, we're at $180, minus $20 in my diesel, that's at $200. Oh, wow. Let's see, now I also ran the chainsaw for a little bit, maybe $1 or $2 in chainsaw fuel, not that big of a deal. Let's see what else happened. Well, you got wear and tear on the trailer, wear and tear on the truck. All those things add up, but you know what? Nix all that. I profited $25. Not for 3 hours of work, more like 5 hours of work, okay? $5 an hour. Terrific. I'm making not even half of minimum wage. Isn't that great? That's just wonderful. So now again, yesterday was bad example, right? I shouldn't have hit a culvert. Whatever I did, that road going in there sucked, no doubt about it. So I shouldn't have had the $60 on the tire. I don't normally have Ryan come over and work for me while I'm gone. So in theory, had yesterday been a good day, I would have profited more around $200. $200 across the total 5 hours that I put into the job, not the 3 hours that I was on location, the 5 hours that I actually invested into this job. $40 an hour, that's still pretty good. Now, the background cost that comes out of that, $40 an hour, that sounds great. I'm independently employed. I've got to pay my mortgage. I've got to pay my health insurance. I've got to pay my retirement benefits, if I can even have enough cash to put into retirement. I've got to, afford, well, that's like anybody else. But there's all those extra expenses. And the reason I was able to make $40 an hour is because I invested in the tractor, I invested in the trailer, I invested in the truck, okay? If you don't have these things, if you had to go buy these things to go into business, now you're paying a lease or you're paying a payment on these tools, okay? So I didn't get paid $40 an hour because I'm really good at running a chainsaw. I didn't get paid $40 an hour because I'm good at walking in on someone's property and going, hey, look, there's a white oak and there's a, water oak and there's a cottonwood. Or that's not what I was paid $40 an hour. I was paid $40 an hour for the assets that I was able to bring to the job. Okay. So, I was, like I said, I was just thinking about this. Tomorrow morning, we're getting up. I'm going to do another job. It's going to be little. This lady just wants me to blade out some gravel on her driveway. She got a couple loads of rock delivered. I'm just going to load the tractor, box blade. Luckily, this job is close to home. It's only maybe 7 miles from here. Just quick shot right down my road. It's actually just off the south end of my road. So much shorter, much closer. as long as I don't damage another rim, and I'm not going to be paying Ryan in the morning to come work for me, although we're talking about already adding up some work for him to come back again, so you kind of forecast towards that. But anyway, let's say tomorrow maybe I get 2 hours of blading this rock. I don't even think it's going to be that much. But, you know, ideally, extend the time on location, but do that like as if you had a conscience, okay? No, I'm not gonna drag it out. You know, I'm not gonna, because obviously she's paying me by the hour, and she's welcome to watch me work, and she's welcome to bust me if she feels like I'm, you know, being lazy. So I'm just looking at what work she has for me to do. I don't think there's 2 hours worth of rock work, you know, just blading out her driveway. Maybe an hour. And I'm going to have an hour into it. We'll say an hour round trip as far as me getting the tractor and trailer loaded, me driving down there, driving back, whatever. So 2 hours into it, if I get an hour worth of work at $75, my costs on diesel fuel is almost negligible. Maybe $5, $10, $65, call it $60. So I profit $30 an hour. It's not terrible. You know, it's not terrible. So, you know, you think about that now. If I can consistently bring home $30 an hour, for a lot of people, that's a really good wage. You know, for a lot of trade sort of jobs, $30 an hour is a really good wage. Now, the difference is I have all of my assets, again, tied up into it, and I'm paying a lot of stuff out of pocket myself. If I could go, and the reason I think this stuff through is because I think if I could go to work for someone else, someone that would offer me health insurance, and they would offer me retirement benefits, and I didn't have to put miles on my truck and my tractor and my equipment at my risk, and I could earn $30 an hour, then that's probably a better deal. But I don't know. So far I'm striking out on trying to find jobs. So, you know, the self-employed thing, it's fun, it's a whirlwind, and you know, like I said in the last video where I talked about this, heart to heart, whatever, my wife and I, there's no shortage of skill sets that we have. We can make this happen. My wife is actually working right now in the wood shop. She's been there all day. She'll probably be there all day tomorrow, just trying to hammer out this first cabinet job that she's got. She's going to be lucky to profit a couple $100 when it's all said and done. But I've done the same thing myself. If you guys go back and look at Alonzo's clearing job that I started a year and a half ago, it's still not done. Okay, when it's all said and done, I'm going to make $1 or $2 an hour. That is the cost of experience in my book. I know I bid that job low. So I'm telling that to my wife. I'm supporting her. You know, it is what it is. But if she can hammer this job out, she can get her cabinets in someone else's house. She can show this GC that she can do it. The next job, who knows where it'll go. Twice as big of a job. 3 times as big of a job. It doesn't take hardly anything. You get in somebody's book. You show them that you're competent. You show them that you're reliable. You show them that you'll actually be there. You know how many times I had people tell me that contractor said he was coming, said he would be there at 5 o'clock, and then doesn't show up? Drives me absolutely crazy. I hate when I'm that guy. If I'm ever going to be late or have to cancel a job, I feel sick about it. I feel mad at myself that I did it, and I go above and beyond to try to contact that person and reschedule and make it right. There's no such thing as a no-show for me. It aggravates the ever-living tar out of me. I've had contractors do it to me. To me, it's unprofessional. It's unacceptable. I don't care how busy you are. We all have cell phones these days. Pretty much everybody has social media. If you don't know how to use the thing, I don't know. That's also unacceptable. Like, get with it. Learn how to make a phone call. Okay, but it is what it is. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video was the cost of being self-employed, the real dollar signs, what you really bring home on a job. You know, somebody somebody looks at my ad and says, oh my God, I'm not paying you $75 an hour to come run your tractor. You're not worth $75 an hour. I can go rent a tractor myself and do it for, for way less. Okay, fine. Go do it. I can't do it for any less than that, because when I back out all my expenses, I'm hoping to break even. And that's just the reality of it. If you can get into jobs where you provide a basic service, a painter or roofers, framers, siding guys, something where you show up with very basic tools and you do a job, that's much better if you can pull it off, and there's what in the world, I think that was a fire ant. And that's why, like, when I go do the bee removals, that's why I really prefer to do bee removals. Some of them I have to drive a long way to do them, but my cost into that most times is like a hammer and a pry bar, so I do well there. I don't have the expense of the tractor and the diesel fuel and all this stuff breaking and going wrong. So if you're considering self-employed, look for those opportunities. Look for those things where you can provide a skilled service that has very low overhead for you. Or if you're looking at the jobs that have high overhead, you're going to do professional land clearing or something like that, and you've got an expensive skid steer with a mulcher and all that stuff, you better darn sure price yourself right. And you have to protect yourself. You have to bid these jobs smart, conservatively. You have to make sure your clients understand why. Why is it so expensive? Because people all the time, no, you're too expensive. No, it's too expensive. And you have to be able to just look those people in the eye and go, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Or you've got to be able to back it up and just say, do you understand why it's so expensive? Okay? But don't go work yourself to a nub just trying to work cheap, just trying to find work and keep people happy. There's a better way. Hopefully you have a little cushion, you have a little space in your budget and your finances that you can pass on that job that breaks even. I had a whole argument with one of my neighbors, and I don't want to go down this story, maybe tell the story some other time. Whole argument with one of my neighbors, and he was mad at me that I wouldn't come and clear his place for $1,000 an acre, because that's what I did it for Alonzo for. And I explained to him very simply, I didn't make any money at Alonzo's job. And as much as we are friends and as much as we are neighbors, I cannot come work for you for a week with these big machines and break even. I can't. If anything breaks on the machine, I lose thousands of dollars. I cannot come do it. I will happily help him in any way that I can, consult with him, give him all the best advice I can, offer him to borrow any of my tools. He can come park his equipment in at my property. I don't care. But I cannot work for someone at zero gain when it's that high risk. So think about all those things. Anyway, looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a quick little job, but for now, these goats are screaming at me. They're hungry. I got to make sure the kids are actually asleep like they're supposed to be, and then I am back out to the sawmill to work on another job, sawing out some trim boards for my brother. So that's the best I can give you for right now. We'll see you tomorrow.